today we have on our Agents of Change podcast, today we have Lab, people here from Lithuania, and we're going to talk a little bit about what the work they're doing, what change they're bringing, and how we can collaborate together, and how art has the impact to bring change and bring people together. So let's all introduce ourselves, starting from there.
My name is Rusne and I'm producer of Lab. I'm Ruta Kapusinskaite and I'm playwright and screenwriter.
I'm Lileta Grinevičiūtė and I'm performer, actress and choreographer.
I'm Simonas and I'm an actor.
Hi, I'm Nitas and I'm videographer projectionist.
I'm Agne and I'm a composer and musician.
I'm Vytautas Plukas and I'm a cinematographer.
I'm Aldona, I'm cinema theatre actress and teaching academy.
So this podcast is about all the things you listed, and it's from the Sanctuary platform, which is for 150 artists, bringing them together across international borders and showcasing their work and showcasing what they do. So starting off, tell us a little about what you do at Lab and tell us a little about Lithuania.
Okay, maybe I can start about Lab. We are an independent theatre company, and it means that we are working on project basis, and we do not have direct funding from the Lithuanian government, but we have some projects that we can apply for them and do our artistic activities. And actually it brings a lot of advantages because we are quite free. We can form our creative teams for each project. We can do actually what we want, what is interesting for us. But as I mentioned before, on the other hand, it's we don't have constant funding, and we are always on the risk because we don't know if our project will be funded or no, and based on that depends a lot of decisions there. Yeah, and we are working quite experimentally, I would say. And our first, the name Lab is Meno Mokslo Laboratoria, Arts and Science Lab. So already we have lab and experiment is coded in our name. And I'm very happy because in Lab we have really one of the, not one of the best, the best artists in Lithuania. It's, I think it's the most creative and the strongest artists in our generation. It's around 30, something like that. And it's from everywhere, from choreographers, playwrights, cinematographers, composers, actors, directors, video artists and so on. So I think we can see that we have a community, and yeah, we don't have our own theater building and so on, but we have the theater group that can create in any theater.
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Now we are seeing what we can do it anywhere.
Yeah. So I was very interested in meeting you guys because you're kind of doing what I'm doing in terms of what my team is also doing in terms of we are totally self-funded. So we're like, oh, what do we do sometimes in terms of what project should we choose next to keep it going and keep it sustainable, because we have a certain amount of money and we have to keep it going. And also because we are very into experimentation as well, and I feel like that diversity adds to that flavor of all different experiences, because for me art is experience, and how to show that can be a million different ways in different mediums, through art or dance or whatever that may be. So we have artists, we have musicians, we have our record label, we have events here, we have a podcast that we're doing. So that's kind of why I really wanted to meet you guys, and that's why we're doing this. So, Basili, would you like to add something?
Sure. So how for some people it's more about experiences. So all my life I've had an issue in expressing whatever I feel, right? So for me, art is more of expression in any way that I can. It's like how if I'm taking a picture, or if I'm even writing, or if I'm drawing, or if I'm doing any sort of artistic thing. So I'm trying to express something that I can't speak or I can't say. So I actually met Sarah at a dance workshop at Arts Council, and over there we spoke about music, and we spoke about how we can use this space in order to also find ourselves as individuals, and also how we can find other people who want to find themselves too. So we all got together. It's not been a long time though. It's been around a month and a half, 2 months since we've been together. And in that time span, we've actually worked with multiple artists. They've come here to showcase. There are photographers, graphic designers, illustrators, and me and myself, me and Sarah, we DJ over here as well. And we try and create something in order to voice our. I mean, for me, it's more of voicing my expression, voicing what I can't say. So yeah, and I'm glad to have you all over here. So if I can, I will be looking at this to ask questions. If it's alright with you. Yeah. So like we've spoken more about Lithuania and Pakistan and like the country it is. So what I'm actually interested is, what are your views of Pakistan? Since you guys reached Pakistan, yeah. What do you think of Pakistan?
We had a lot of stereotypes as we understood when we came here, because we heard so many things about Pakistan, and we were kind of even afraid to come here. But when we came, we saw like totally different picture than we imagined. Like people are super friendly here, like all of them, in the streets, in the theater, the arts council, they're super friendly, super helpful, very open, wanting, like very hospitable. Yes. Hospitable.
Yes.
Yes. And yeah, like we didn't expect to be taken care so well, and it's so interesting to hear all the stories from Pakistan, from Pakistani people. They're very open to share, so it's very interesting. And for me personally, it was also like I thought that it's very radical, like especially with the like all women wearing scarves and etc. And when I came here, I understood that you can find everything, like it's every possible way in one place.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of diversity, right? You see women wearing a hijab or a scarf because they believe in covering their body, and that's their belief, and we all respect it. And then there are some women who are free to do whatever they want, like the men, and like even the animals are free to do what they want over here. So like there is no, there is no holding back on anybody's freedom over here. So this is one thing that I also really appreciate about my own country, that we're very giving to our guests and to people who come from abroad. But the only problem is that mainstream media has portrayed such a violent image of Pakistan, which I also don't blame. I don't blame that, but again, there's much more to that as well than what is shown on mainstream media. Does anybody else want to add?
Because what we also talked about, that we are kind of in a bubble because we are artists, and for example, we meet you because you are also artists, and we don't really, I didn't walk in the street by myself, and didn't talk with anyone. So I don't know if we can all just see Pakistan through this, hospitable artists who greeted us here and who we met, but it's not, I don't know if we really experienced, we've only been in one city and only met a lot of nice artists. So me myself, I don't know if I know, and I have, my opinion. So
yeah, because also we saw a lot of men with guns, and a lot of police, and in the art center we are going every day with bodyguards, I don't know how to say, with
yeah, it's actually,
guns. So
it's not so. It's actually very subjective. It's become a culture where the elite people they roam with security personnel, bodyguards, even though it's not required at all. And and because it's portrayed in a way that no, you have to have a bodyguard on you or you have to have security personnel. But again, it's for your security because we would not want anything to ever happen. Like, there could be some chances where something would happen, but it's just for like extra, just to be safe.
Yeah.
So I mean.
So I'd also like to hear from you too, because you're extra quiet. What have your experiences been?
The best thing is like when I knew what it is, it was like something for me. Like I'm blessing you in my heart, and it was like it's the main thing probably for me personally what it is about Pakistan. Like all the people are here, like you said very hospitable, and very well. It's touching. That's it.
So what is one takeaway, like what do you leave with that memory or that kind of feeling or some thought that you have?
I can just add what Simon has already said, is the hospitability of people and the kindness that we've experienced personally. Like Agnes said, we haven't met everyone, we haven't met all the people in Karachi, and we've still been only in Karachi. But from what I can say, it's just been great. We haven't had a single bad encounter. It's always very polite, very nice, very kind. And as Ruth also mentioned that before we arrived here there was a lot of rumors, a lot of things, but basically those rumors because were there because nothing was clear. Lithuanians just don't know what is in Pakistan. They know something about India, but they don't know basically nothing about Pakistan. So when we arrived here, it was very exciting to be surprised, and we were pleasantly surprised. So it was, I think that's what I'm going to bring back home, is that it's very nice. The people are very nice, especially.
Yes. Okay, so tell us more about your work and how an artist today can be more global and use transportation, like more technology, to their benefit to do international collaborations and work. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think it really depends on the area of the world you find yourself in. Because as before we started the podcast, what Anna was telling, that we are lucky to have a lot of opportunities for traveling funds, and for our local artists it is usual to go to different countries and experience art by practice. So going to workshops, seeing different things. But we have a possibility for that. And I think there are a lot of countries where there is no such possibility, or it's extremely expensive. So I think that we are here. So this is like a small bond we can make with Lithuania and Pakistan. And then through this bond we can expand our art field and your art field by inviting each other and sharing our art, sharing workshops, sharing our experiences. So I think the best way to expand is by meeting, by encounter. Of course, COVID made us realize that internet platform can work as well for that. But from my opinion, always the best is meeting face to face, not screen to screen. And I think we will definitely say really good and nice words about Pakistani people and Pakistani artists, and it might lead somewhere. And I think a lot of connections happens like that between different countries when you meet each other.
Definitely, I agree that meeting each other is the best, and because we can travel more, and at least talk to people, then we can at least, set up a meeting and meet them in person, maybe go to a festival, go to a concert and bring those people, or just at least meet them and then see what you can do with them. So, tell me more about your experience with the washing machine and the mother and doing this whole performance that you guys came in for.
So with washing machine, we didn't expect to get such a nice feedback from people. Every one of us got a lot of messages and encouragement, and I think this tells us that art can go beyond the walls, beyond the borders, and that emotional language is it fits to everyone. So it doesn't matter the culture. It talks through. So art is a tool to talk with different culture people, because we all experience a lot of stuff in our lives, bad or good. And through art, when we communicate that, we can reach those. So for me, it was surprising that people were really nice and nicely accepting peace. And then I was like, wow, so it's not a European piece, it's not for only European audience, it's for everyone, and that made me glad.
For me, because I did music for Greta's performance, and how we work, usually because we work in more projects with Greta and Rusna and some other people in this, but how we work, it's usually we collaborate, and every part, like for example, video or sound is very conceptual. It's not just for eyes or ears. It has a message. So for me also was very nice because all soundtrack for this performance was only from women voices, and we recorded a lot of women, not only professional singers, like just women who are mothers or daughters or whatever, and the main thing was a lullaby. So what we did when we came here, we decided also, I felt very good because we decided that I want to record a woman singing this lullaby in Urdu. And Art Council helped us, we got recording, especially for this performance, and we mixed this lullaby into the Lithuanian lullaby. And for me, I was really proud when I said, everybody, a lot of men suggested to record, and I said, no, it's only women voices here. So for me personally, as a composer, it's very important, this gender thing, that it's women voices and it's about mothers, daughters, and also that our cultures kind of sounds really good together. So for me it's also this feeling what we felt, I think, people coming and saying to us.
Yeah, I mean also by the end when the two washing machines were dancing each other, there were Urdu or Hindi lyrics in that. And I think the integration was so good. I literally, I had goosebumps when I heard that. Yeah, it was actually very, very nice. Yeah, and luckily I was recording from my phone as well, and I got that recording.
I can send it to you, maybe you can use in the podcast background, or
yeah, I mean, I would love to have it on my phone as well, because it was actually very, I had no words for it again. I told you I have a problem expressing myself, but it was so strong, and it was, and I was so happy to hear Urdu lyrics involved in it that, okay, so there was a point where Clara said that, so she wanted to have a meal with someone, right? And she said that I would like to have that meal with you, and there are so many other ways. And after that, what happens is washing machine dancing. The washing machine happens, and it took me away. And I was sitting next to Atta at that point, and Atta asked me, "Are you okay? Are you alright?" I was fixated on that shit at that point. It was very nice. It was very, very nice.
We wanted to bring the washing machine, which is dancing, but it was too expensive, so we used the video. But in Lithuania, when we show this piece, it's Greta is controlling, like she is dancing, like it's live.
Yeah, I thought that somebody behind is controlling the washing machine. Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting, the voices of the mothers and the memories of so many different people and so many voices. It was like being in someone's head or like a lot of people's heads, and it got more and more, got faster, and it got more like this energy was building up, and it got almost to the point of being uncomfortable. Like it was uncomfortable. So it was like, and it was very powerful because it was like, you know, when you feel something really strongly, maybe like love, or you know, like perhaps someone close to you dies, and you think about it again and again and again and again, and then it becomes stronger and stronger. So it was kind of like that, and also like just being so like, you know, like thoughts entering someone's head and going in and out, like that kind of feeling was very good, like very powerful.
So, I mean, like what you guys showed in Pakistan and I was opposite, do you have the same response back in villainous? Villainous. So, is it the same response that you get over there as well? Or people generally understand what you guys are showing? Or if you showed the, I heard the sound was the same, I don't do lyrics back in.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
We can talk about how the child and object is received as well, because those two pieces. So
Because we got very warm, well, when we showed it was premiere of Dance My Mother, we got a lot of feedback. I think it was successful, but it was during COVID, and we showed it online, and it was more as a movie, which we don't
But it was a live stream?
Yeah,
live
stream.
live performance?
Yeah. Very based on visual experience, and then yeah, we do. And Urdu is not in Lithuanian version, but what we talked with Greta, because we also were in Austria, in Vienna with this performance. Maybe if we travel everywhere, so we can keep a piece of that country in the soundtrack, so it will become like, you know, voice of women in the world. Similar.
Yeah, I think that this traveling to different countries gives you this new ideation process where you know, we can also integrate this in our own film. And yeah, I think that's a great thing to do. I think it's going to be too good if you can travel and for that specific part you can add the national language of that specific country in that sound. I think that's actually very interesting, very cool.
Maybe you can tell about object and child.
Yeah, because the history of object and child is very interesting, because Sohail Malik saw us in Lithuania and he saw our version of object and the child, and he was so impressed by that, and he just wrote me, okay, you have to come to Pakistan and I would like to have our own version of that. So it was also in Lithuania, it was very well received, and we were in main festivals in Lithuania, in all the showcases and so on. And when we showed it in Estonia, in Latvia, and maybe we'll have some other tours. But yeah, it was really well accepted there. And here, I think it's like started a conversation between Lithuanian and Pakistani artists, because you know it's first such a collaboration that is happening here, and everyone back in Lithuania, they are just waiting for us to come, I guess, because now we are following what's happening here, all the social media posts, all the stories and so on, because for everyone it's so interesting. But okay, you are going there, what's happening there, and we have to tell a lot about that. And now I just call us like unofficial ambassadors here in Lithuania of Lithuanian culture. And I think that when we'll come back, it will be something like this in Lithuania, because okay, we'll represent what's happening here in Pakistan, and I think that we'll have a lot of more projects and maybe more performance will come and so on.
Actually, we like the like you said that you mentioned that you're going to come back over here. Yeah, I think that's very nice. Yeah. So, as individuals, like while filming, writing, and also the sound and anything, did this film have any, like, did you guys have any take back for your own personal life on this film as well?
Is it a true story or is it like mixed or like, yeah?
Mother is basically a mostly true story. A letter I wrote by myself to my mother, trying to remember her. And this performance
is built on the memory, and every piece of it is trying to remember, and every time I'm performing it, it's an act of remembrance and how it fades away from the memory. So of course some parts are more adapted, and so it's but it's real. It's based on a true story.
Yeah, and I really felt that kind of coming through, and because it was so real and raw and powerful, that emotion, and also because in the performance art experience, like bringing that reality forward rather than any other theater that maybe have like, fiction and more of that. So I could see that, and I wanted to like really know, because we discussed that too. Like, and we think it's based off of it, but we're not sure. So,
You read the trilogy with three performances and the future plans. It has continuity.
So very shortly, and maybe we can touch Arpijat and child performance more. So I created a trilogy, Dance for a Vacuum Cleaner and Father. It is about my and father relationship. It's based on true story as well, and it includes documented phone calls with my father, then washing machine and mother, based on relationships with my mother and memory of not having her, and object and child, Dance for an Object and Child, that we all created, is based on our own opinions about having children, and then Birute dramaturgically put that together, those lines. And the next will be Dance for a Cigarette and Best Friend, about women, friendship, relationship, ups and downs.
And cigarettes.
And cigarettes.
Yeah. So what do you see? Yeah, the cigarettes part. That's such a good way to make friends.
It is.
Yeah. So what do you see as like the trends in Europe in performing arts and just art in general, in terms of like fine arts and then music? Do you know like what is coming up and what is the like trends in all those fields?
I think there are no trends anymore, and no, I think.
Yeah, whatever you make it.
Yeah, like it's
Well, I
very
guess,
weakness.
a couple of years ago, I guess there was some kind of influence of Eastern European kinds of sensibilities, because Lithuania won at the Venus Biennale with our work, and Sun and Sea, performance Sun and Sea, and I guess there was a lot of like, I don't know, so I guess it's sensibilities from Eastern Europe, I suppose, but now I think it's like Agnes said, it's mostly just there's everything is at once, like AI and artificial intelligence, AR, VR, new technologies, and of course all the classic themes of environment, political topics, and such.
Bioethics.
Biotechnology, the future of humanity in that regard.
Robots.
So I guess like what is trending, if you could say it. So yeah, like more themes and topics that you're touching. And no matter what you do, you before you didn't think about, you didn't consciously think about ethics. Maybe about ethics, you always was, but about environment, about sustainability, etc. And now you either you put it yourself into the work, or you see it into other works, or any workshop you get into now has this topic or subtopic in the work.
And actually traveling through festivals, different festivals, you can definitely see the concentration on that. And sometimes with artists we make jokes that if you want to be a trendy, popular artist and to travel a lot, you have to make some kind of themes. Work based on some kind of theme and then you will be successful, you know? And the work sometimes, of course, it differs, but sometimes the work it's more about the theme, not the work.
Yeah, I understand that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So because we work a lot with those aspects as well, and I'm personally interested in, like, how do you think art can help bring more peace building, more tolerance, and more impact, to the world?
Especially when it's about conflict itself. At least like playwriting and things. That's a paradox.
Yeah, I feel like pain is very universal. The feeling of pain, like everybody feels it. It's not just like, someone in Pakistan's in their room and they're feeling sad. I don't think that's true. I think everywhere in the world, people feel the same things. And I think that's what brings a very nice integration of cultural art. But
It's really nice.
I mean, we all have we have a long conversation about that. But yeah, you're right. I feel we're under the same sun, the same moon, the same sky. We all are also on a specific point on the same frequency, and I think we all feel that to an extent. And I think because we all feel that same thing, maybe that's why universal integration of art can actually be very possible in collaborating with different countries and everything, because again, you all feel the same thing in different languages and different perception.
And so it's like, for me, the best compliment is when someone tells me that they came to the theater, even though they never go to the theater. It's not a big thing, but they came to the theater to see something. And afterwards, they had a discussion with their family about that topic until 3 in the morning. For me, it's like the best thing that can happen with art, that it evokes people to talk, it continues. It's like these circles in the lake when you put the stone and it gets bigger and bigger. So for me, it's the same what art does with people. Like at first, it might not affect you instantly, but then through time, it affects more and more people now.
Yeah, I think conversation is like broadband. It keeps on increasing its it keeps on from one year to another, and yeah, especially for also the film that you guys showed, I even followed the videos from my mother, and once I did, so even we had a very slow conversation about that, how our relationship has been, and how can we even make it better, where there comes a point in life where I want to have dinner with someone, it's probably would be my mother as well.
And sorry.
I just would like to add something to what Birute said, because when we are talking about impact, it's very important to also to talk about accessibility, because it's quite sometimes a miracle that someone who is not going to the theater comes to the theater, and we have that problem in Lithuania too, but not everyone has the opportunity to go there, and not everyone wants to go there. So
why?
Because I think that some kind of need is not formed, and for example, in Lithuania. There are a lot of people who are coming into museums, theaters, everywhere while they are at schools, and after that it's a very big gap, because youth, if they don't have cultural events, or they are not seeing some exhibitions and so on, and if they don't have this habit, so they both become theater consumers or arts consumers and so on. And I'm not, I just heard one number here, not such a statistical number, but 4% of the Pakistani population have access to culture. Is it right?
I'm not sure if that's, I mean, again, I can't say if it's right or wrong, but I think it's a bit higher than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more, of course, in cities because there are more venues, there's more art. But even in smaller towns, they have their own regional or folk music that maybe they play on a smaller scale, you know, like 5 people are sitting and someone's playing kind of thing. So definitely bigger cities have bigger
So like, you
platforms.
can talk about Qawwali and like how that's like a very Pakistani thing to do.
Yeah.
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 So do you guys know what Qawwali is?
Devotional music that is sang.
And it's more spiritual. Okay. So that's one thing that brings all Pakistan together. Is Qawwali. You can even search it down on the internet.
And there's a lot of poetry, like Bulle Shah about finding yourself. It's kind of like that. It's very repetitive and it's very high energy and like fast paced. Like people are clapping. There's like 10 people and they're going like, so they're all going together and like a lot of it is like, for instance, Bulle Shah is a Sufi mystic because the Sufis are very, so it's very prominent in it. And there's this one line that we were talking about, and it goes that Padiya Kitabu Na, which means like you read all the books in the world, but apne aap ki padiya, meaning like, did you ever read yourself? Yeah, like as a book. That is very, I just got chills saying that. That's really something that, you know, resonates with me because it's like the Sufi side is very much about connection through yourself to nature and, you know, like, and it's moving.
movement.
Yeah,
Not only
it even puts you in
and
trance.
breathing. Yeah. Breathing, like so
Breathing,
this chanting.
Yeah, the
Chanting
that is the dervishes, and you know, like Rumi talked about it and all the great mystics,
But also Sufis are musicians and singers, yes, also about art. Artistic things.
So it's actually a trance that you can get into. So some people are so into that specific tune that you play that it brings them into a very strong trance, and they can get lost into it. So the more lost you know that trance, the more you spin, and you won't feel that you're spinning. You're so like, you know, you're so energetic.
Yeah, and it's about losing your ego and you feel like you're part of the, like you're a particle in the universe, right? Because you kind of go in that state where you're removed from your normal self and you become like associated with everything around you, and in that state you just become like connected with everything else. So that is the idea of it.
I tried it. And I think
Really?
Yes.
How was that experience?
Yes, I was afraid first of all. It was very strange, but I every day get used to it. To make more longer distance. But it was very interesting practice.
Yeah.
So even also if you guys do visit Pakistan next time, you should actually visit more of the interior Sindh, and over there we have these Sufi shrines, and over there you will actually get to experience the real thing with real drums going on. And so the last time I went with my sister, and so that was a drummer, and I don't know what that instrument is called, but the drum was like big, like it was like a very big drum, and he was standing like at least 15 feet in the air, and he was just playing that drum, and everyone around him were like, you know, just going in circles. For a second I was a bit scared that, you know, what's happening, but then I learned that it's also a trance, and Sufism is so spiritual. It's so spiritual that you actually are able to, like, you know, think about things that you want to, like, you know, focus upon yourself. I think that's very cool.
But even if we turn to artists, these kind of practices, they usually are done. Maybe not, traditional ones, but for example, in dance in Lithuania all over, we have those improvisational jams where musicians are playing and you just let yourself go. So you train yourself
Or
to
with
go
a
away.
voice or dancing
Or
or
with voice, yeah.
music, some kind of music.
Or even with painting, it's as well an act of letting go and knowing yourself through art. So it's very connected.
It's actually very interesting because it's the same thing over here. Yeah. So you have any more questions?
Yeah, I think that was a wonderful ending to that because I ended on a very good note. So we can end this here and that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.